The protagonist of the story, Issei, is very lecherous, and he aspires to become the king of the harem. Because his relationship with girls is very good, he gains 5 harems as soon as he appears. Whether it is a hot female devil or a pure nun, they are all his admirers. Together with the school babe, they offer to live with him. But at the beginning of the story, even the private high school Issei attends has far more girls than boys. He does not get the favor of girls, and he has been single for a whole school year. Different from Issei, a guy named Yuto is extremely popular. Yuto is a sophomore in high school and is very popular with girls. Because Issei doesn't get attention from girls, his favorite thing to do is peek at beautiful women with his friends. Unfortunately, before he can see the beauty, he is discovered by his female classmates. After being beaten, Issei hides near the old school building. At this time, he sees a red-haired beauty, Rias, on the balcony of the old school building. Rias is the president of the Supernatural Research Club and an idol in everyone's eyes. It is the first time Issei has met Rias, and her beautiful red hair makes him very impressed. But what he doesn't know is that Rias is also interested in him. Vice President Akino senses Rias' thoughts. Even though she doesn't understand why Rias would pay attention to Issei, she trusts Rias' judgment very much. Akino enlists Kaneko, a member of the club, and asks her to keep an eye on Issei. After school, Issei receives a love confession from a female classmate. Her name is Rainier, and she is a student at a nearby school. Issei is surprised and immediately accepts her confession. Kaneko sees Rainier's identity and reports the incident to Rias. While dating Rainier, Issei receives a flyer from the Supernatural Research Club. He doesn't care much about the flyer and has a great day with his girlfriend, but he never expects that Rainier's true identity is a fallen angel. She approaches Issei in order to take his life. Issei's physique is very special. He has a sacred gear inside him, which is very dangerous for fallen angels. Issei is seriously injured and falls to the ground. Looking at the bright red blood on his body, Issei remembers Rias' hair. At this time, Rias suddenly appears in front of Issei. She rescues Issei and asks him to be her servant. Issei doesn't understand why he is being hunted down. When he wakes up, he is once again in the place where he was killed. Strangely, his body has changed. Even though it is dark, he can see what is around him clearly. That's when Issei once again becomes a fallen angel's prey. As his life comes to an end, Rias saves him once again. When Issei wakes up, he finds Rias lying in his bed. Rias explains that she is a devil because she has resurrected Issei. Issei is reincarnated as her servant. Since Issei's injuries need to be treated, she holds him in her arms and teleports some of her magic onto him. To help Issei understand the situation he is facing, Rias takes him to the Supernatural Research Club. Issei doesn't expect Yuto to be a member too, and it makes him very curious about Yuto's identity. Rias tells Issei that this is a world where devils, fallen angels, and angels coexist. Whether it's devils or fallen angels, there are good ones and bad ones. The members of the Supernatural Research Club are all devils, due to their different sides. As devils, they are likely to be attacked by angels and fallen angels. Issei's first girlfriend, Rainier, is a fallen angel. Because Issei has divine powers, he is very dangerous for a fallen angel, and he will always be attacked. To test Issei's strength, Rias asks him to raise his left hand and imagine the most powerful energy he feels. But Issei can't concentrate since he sees Rias' panties. Rias is forced to give up testing Issei's strength. She tells Issei that devils need to gather energy from humans. They must make a pact with humans in order to improve their strength. Issei is able to summon Rias before he dies because he has received her flyer. For Issei to serve her better, Rias asks Issei to give flyers to humans who may need them. After delivering the flyers, Issei receives another assignment. Because Devil Kaneko has 2 commissions at the same time, Issei needs to complete one of them for her. Unfortunately, the magic array malfunctions, and Issei can only ride to meet the client. After they meet, the client asks Issei to perform special skills, but Issei has just become a devil and can't do anything. Issei doesn't expect the client to summon devil just to watch him perform, which makes him very helpless. Not only does he fail to complete the commission, but he also meets a fallen angel on the way back. To overcome the fallen angel, Issei raises his left hand and thinks of the most powerful energy he considers. Issei unleashes the power of sacred gear and knocks the fallen angel away. After this busy day, Issei meets a very cute blonde girl, Asia. She's a nun in the church. It is her first time in Japan, and she loses her way on the way to the church. While helping to lead the way, Issei finds that his left hand is repulsive to the church. Rias learns of Issei's experience and warns him not to approach the church. His left hand reacts because it senses danger. The church and the devil are in opposing camps, and Issei must be vigilant. Later, Rias discovers that a devil has appeared in the town and is harmful to humans. She is Devil's servant, but she betrays her master and harms humans everywhere. Rias comes from a noble family of devils, and her mission is to eliminate the heresies in devils. The members of the Supernatural Research Club are all Rias' servants. Rias is the absolute master, and her servants are equivalent to pawns on the chessboard, and everyone's position is different. In front of the devil, the members use their skills to fight. Before Devil attacks Rias, Issei protects her with the energy of his left hand. Akino is the strongest among the members of the club. She is very good at using magic attacks and quickly defeats Devil. In the end, Rias uses her powerful devil energy to end the fight. After the battle, Issei receives a commission. Rias hopes that Issei will make a contract with humans as soon as possible to improve his strength. Issei doesn't want to disappoint Rias. He arrives at his client's home, only to find that the client has been killed. The client is killed by a very evil exorcist. What Issei doesn't expect is that Asia is actually the exorcist's assistant. Asia feels that Issei is very kind. When the exorcist attacks him, Asia protects him. But the exorcist is very strong, and Issei and Asia are no match for him. When Issei's life is threatened, Rias arrives at the scene in time. She is sorry not to have discovered the presence of the exorcist in advance. To protect Issei, she uses a magic array to send him to safety. After eliminating the exorcist, Rias tells Issei that Asia's identity is not a nun. She is expelled from the church and becomes fallen angel's servant. Issei thinks he's too weak to protect those around him. To get strengthened, Issei comes to the park to exercise. At this time, he meets Asia in the park. Issei sees she is in a bad mood and accompanies her around. During this time, Asia finds Issei's injuries and addresses his wounds. After the treatment, Asia tells her story. Asia was born in a small church in Europe. At the age of 8, she picked up a badly injured puppy. Under her prayers, the puppy's injuries miraculously healed. Since then, Asia has been brought to the big church, responsible for healing believers from all over the world. Until one day, Asia met a wounded man. The man's identity was Fallen Angel, who claimed that Asia could even heal devils and was an outlier in the church. Because of Fallen Angel's accusations, Asia was expelled from the church and became Fallen Angel's servant. Asia thinks it is a test for her. As long as she survives this trial, she can live an ordinary life. Since Asia has no friends, Issei decides to become her friend. Whether it's Devil or Fallen Angel, the friendship won't change. At this time, Rainier learns that Asia is being lured by the devil and attacks them. When Issei is injured, Asia treats him promptly, but Issei is too weak to defeat Rainier. In order to keep Issei safe, Asia chooses to follow Rainier and leave. Issei returns to the Supernatural Research Club to ask the members for help, but they arrive too late, and Rainier has already taken Asia's power. Issei doesn't expect his first love to be an evil fallen angel, and he is rattled. With the help of the members, Issei flees with Asia in his arms, but Asia's life has come to an end, and she dies in Issei's arms. Asia's death is a huge blow to Issei, who desperately wants to kill Rainier. Even when attacked by Rainier, he refuses to give up. With Issei's efforts, he unleashes the energy of his left hand and knocks down Rainier. Rias eliminates Rainier's accomplices and comes to join them. In order not to be killed, Rainier turns into a female high school student. She takes out the gift that Issei has given to her, hoping that he would spare her. Undeceived by Rainier, Issei asks Rias to eliminate her. Issei feels that it is his fault that Asia dies and feels very sad. Thankfully, Rias needs Asia's healing power. With Rias' help, Asia reincarnates into a devil and becomes her servant. In order to improve Issei's physical strength, Rias decides to train him in a special way. During training, Issei and Rias have a lot of physical contacts. After training, Rias takes Asia to Issei's home. Rias communicates with Issei's parents in the hope that they would take Asia in, since Asia has nowhere to go. Issei's parents are very fond of Asia and agree to take her in. Because Issei hasn't made a contract with humans, Rias offers him a reward. As long as he can complete the contract, he can touch her private parts. Led by Rias, Issei goes to the client's home. This time the task is very simple. Because the late-night school is scary, the client asks Issei to retrieve her notebook. But after getting the notebook, the client makes another request. She has a boy she likes very much, and she wants him to like her back. Rias suggests she write a love letter since the client doesn't want to use devil's power. With their help, the client reaps a wonderful relationship. Issei successfully makes a pact with a human. He is excited and asks Rias to keep her promise. Rias doesn't expect Issei to like her so much. She gives him 5 seconds to touch her private parts as he wants. Unfortunately, the sudden appearance of the club member sabotages Issei's plans. At this time, Rias hugs Issei tightly. She feels that Issei has great potential and wants him to become strong as soon as possible. Later, Rias introduces Issei to other devils at the school. She recognizes Issei's strength and wants to find a suitable enchanter for him. But there is only one enchanter per month, and they have to fight with the other devils. To be fair, Rias proposes a dodgeball match to determine the winner. Before the start of the competition, Issei specially prepares headbands for the members. Since the contestants are all devils, this dodgeball game becomes very intense. During this time, Issei's private part is hit by a ball, and Asia treats him. With their teamwork, Supernatural Research Club triumphs. Soon, in their search for the enchanter, they encounter a monster that specializes in eating cloth. Issei loves this monster so much that he wants to make it his own enchanter. Unfortunately, Issei's idea is opposed by everyone. Then an enchanter attacks Issei. It likes Asia very much and makes a contract with her. In the following story, Issei is encouraged by friends to hide in the closet to peek at the beauty. Kaneko spots the boys in the closet and beats them up. Issei returns home and accidentally bumps into the scene where Asia is bathing. Just as Issei is about to leave, Asia suddenly grabs Issei. Asia knows that Issei wants to be close to the girls, and she takes the initiative to hug Issei. Issei endures the desire in his mind and wants Asia to calm down. Issei races out of the bathroom when his mother happens to catch their hug. At this time, Rias uses the magic array to come to Issei's room. She seems to be having troubles and asks Issei to have an intimate interaction with her. Both Rias and Issei act very rusty. Issei likes Rias very much, and he is looking forward to hooking up with her. But the appearance of a devil disrupts their plan. This devil is a servant of Rias' brother, named Graphia. Rias' family runs into difficulties and she has to marry another family. After being caught by Graphia, Rias has to follow her away. Rias kisses Issei and apologizes to him for her actions. Issei is very worried about Rias' situation. He arrives at the Supernatural Research Club only to meet Rias' fiancé, Riser. Riser was born noble and very powerful. Rias doesn't like Riser. She just wants to marry someone she approves of. However, Riser does not want to embarrass the family and insists on marrying Rias. Even if he needs to kill all of Rias' servants, he will take her away. To deal with the conflict between Rias and Riser, Graphia proposes a rating game. The rule of the game is that their servants compete with each other. The number of Rias' servants is too small and the situation is very unfavorable to them. Issei is very envious of Riser having 15 sexy maids. Riser deliberately shows his intimacy with one of the beauties. Issei, believing that Riser is very disrespectful to Rias, launches an attack on Riser. But Issei is too weak and loses to Riser. Rias hates Riser so much that she vows to beat him in the fight. The match is scheduled for 10 days later. To defeat Riser, the members of the Supernatural Research Club conduct a special training session. Issei is the weakest of all the members, and he has to go the extra mile to improve his strength. Akino tells Issei that magic comes from imagination. With her help, Issei learns to control magic. Issei's biggest dream is to have clairvoyance. He wants to peek at the beautiful woman bathing but fails due to his lack of ability. Later, Rias and the members tell the history of devils. A long time ago, devils went through 3 major wars with angels and fallen angels, but in every big battle, there was no winner or loser. Devils suffered a lot of damage in the wars, and there were fewer and fewer of them. This is why they seek out devil servants and make pacts with humans. Riser's family is very despicable. By playing rating games, they quickly improve the strength and status of their family. Rias knows that their chances of winning are low and can only resort to special means. Issei is curious about why Rias doesn't want to marry Riser. Rias says that she has lived under the honor of the family since she was a child, and she hopes that her future partner will like her for the way she is, but not related to her family. Issei plucks up the courage to speak his mind. He doesn't know much about devils. He likes Rias, and other things don't matter. Rias is impressed by Issei, which makes her want to beat Riser even more. In the subsequent training, Issei's strength has been greatly improved. His left-hand energy has been continuously strengthened, and he has reached the point where he can fight his superior devil. As long as they believe in each other, they will win. Before the game begins, Rias and her servants move to a special playing field. This is an alternately dimensional space built to imitate Rias' school, and the site is very favorable for Rias. Rias designs some traps around and arranges for Akino to use magic to confuse the others. Issei and Asia are left at base camp, ready to stand by. Rias tells Issei that since his body can't withstand the immense amount of power, she seals a part of his power. Because of the need for battle, Rias lifts the seal on him. Even if the opponents are all girls, Issei can't be soft-hearted. After the enemies invade, Issei uses magic to destroy the girls' clothes. This is the result of his training with Asia. Although the method is relatively lame, the effect is very good. Before Akino's magic disappears, they must destroy the enemies in the barrier as soon as possible. At this time, Kaneko is suddenly attacked by the enemies. due to her injuries. Kaneko becomes the first servant to be out. Akino rushes to Issei's side to avenge Kaneko. After that, Issei and Yuto converge and launch an attack on the remaining enemies. Rias changes tack, and she secretly leaves the base camp to challenge Riser. Unexpectedly, Riser sees through her trick. They have no choice but to fight with all their might. Issei and Yuto use the power of sacred gear to eliminate four servants of the other side in succession. However, the situation is still very unfavorable for them, and Akino and Yuto are quickly eliminated by the enemies. At this time, the enemies launch an attack on Asia. Although Issei stands in front of Asia, she faints. Issei doesn't want to lose to Riser. As long as he has one last bit of magic, he won't give up on this match. He will fight until the last minute for Rias. He likes Rias, and it has nothing to do with her family. Rias is afraid that Issei would be burned by Riser. As Riser prepares to make a move, she stops Riser and voluntarily surrenders to him and abandons the match. Issei passes out in the match because he cannot withstand the energy of the sacred gear. During his coma, Issei has a conversation with the god who lives in his left hand. It is a Welsh dragon and is very powerful. Issei has access to its power at any time if he wants to. When Issei wakes up, he meets Grafia. Grafia reminds Issei, except for Asia, who stays to take care of him. Everyone else has gone to Rias' wedding. Thankfully, Rias' older brother, Surzex, is the most powerful demon king. Surzex appreciates Issei's performance very much. To help Issei and Rias, he asks Grafia to tell Issei if Issei wants to stop the wedding, he can use the magic array to get to the wedding. To ruin the wedding, Issei and Welsh Dragon make a deal. After that, Issei rushes to the wedding. Surzex, as the leader of the devils, makes his attitude clear to Riser. Because Riser has more servants than his sister, the rating game is unfair. He proposes a new match, with Issei and Riser confronting each other alone. If Issei wins, Riser will cancel the wedding. Issei enlists the help of the Welsh Dragon and fights Riser. Devils are afraid of the cross and holy water, and because Issei has given his left hand to Welsh Dragon, he is not afraid of the cross and holy water. Issei burns Riser with holy water to win the match. At the end of the story, Rias and Riser break off the engagement. She gets on her mount and leaves the underworld with Issei. Although Riser is just one of Rias's marriage partners, Issei is not afraid of the dangers he may face in the future. No matter what, he will be by Rias' side to protect her. To thank Issei, Rias gives him her first kiss. Rias realizes her feelings for Issei and decides to live with him to get to know him better. Suddenly, Issei recalls the first time he met Rias. It turned out that from that moment on, he was deeply in love with Rias. High School DxD constructs a very large worldview. Devils, fallen angels, and angels exist in this world at the same time. It tries to tell us that there can be good among devils and fallen angels, just like our male protagonist, Issei, the kindest of the devils. Although he has always aspired to become the king of a harem, he attaches great importance to feelings, and even if he is the weakest of all, he will do his best to protect his friends. I think that's probably why girls like Issei. In the subsequent story, Issei has more than a dozen wives with his personal charm. Because polygamy and polyandry are allowed in the underworld, Issei will be very happy in his future life. Well, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel where you'll see more interesting anime recaps.